Hello, welcome, and thank you for tuning in. I'm your host, Aaron Diaz, and you're listening to episode number 18 of Live the Good Life from the podcast studios of Aaron's Wine Chronicles corporate headquarters in Richland, Washington. Today, I'm going to be solo, guiding you step by step through the process of how to prepare my Cajun pan-fried shrimp. This recipe is fast, it's simple to cook, and it can be prepared as either an hors d'oeuvre / appetizer or a main entree. This recipe is something my family and friends really enjoy, and I'm sure you'll impress your guests at your next dinner party with this delicious plate. So let's go ahead and get this started. Hope you enjoy the show. Hello, and welcome to my kitchen. I'm Aaron Diaz, your host of Live the Good Life. So normally we're either at my brother's house in his kitchen, or we've been outside in his backyard watching him do tutorials on barbecuing and other things. Today, we're going to work on a different dish, a dish that can go one of two ways. You can either use it as an hors d'oeuvre and not include the rice component, or you can make Jasmine rice and put the shrimp together. It's Cajun pan-fried shrimp. It's delicious either way. I wanted to take you through briefly what the ingredients are for this dish. I'm featuring it today because I tend to get a lot of really good marks from friends and family whenever I cook it up as either an hors d'oeuvre or for dinner, as a main entree, with a side salad and a nice white wine. So that's what we're going to do today. Today's episode is going to focus on making it as a dinner entree, and we'll put it together with a nice bacon maple salad, as well as a Grüner Veltliner white wine, a wine that is typically enjoyed in Germany and Austria. So I ended up getting one for this meal because it does pair very nicely with shrimp. So let's check out some of the ingredients here. You'll see I have some fresh chives that have been washed and prepped, ready to cut them up, and I'll put them in this little bowl here and add those to the shrimp as I'm frying them. We've got garlic powder, which is always a staple for stuff that I make. Smoky honey habanero spice. We have, of course, fresh ground pepper, some Cajun, McCormick's Cajun spice. I like Creole and blackened seasoning. I also, of course, like cayenne pepper. And then, of course, some King Cajun. We'll use butter and olive oil, and we will also brown some minced garlic in the pan prior to adding the shrimp. With regard to the shrimp, let's see here, we ended up getting, I typically like to get the raw shrimp, 16 to 20 count, extra jumbo. These, of course, been previously frozen. We live in a desert, so we don't get any fresh shrimp, typically. But so I went to Safeway and picked up about 1.3 pounds of this. So probably looking at 25 to 27 shrimp in this package here. And then, of course, the other thing here is the Jasmine rice. And I probably won't take you through the step-by-step of how to make rice. Rice is obviously very easy to make. And it's basically, for this type of Jasmine rice that I bought, it's 2 cups of water to every 1 cup of rice. I think in this guy here, probably going to put 2 cups of rice and then 4 cups of water, and that's what we'll do. I'll probably prep that offline, and then when I'm done with the shrimp, we'll add it on together and serve it that way. So I'm looking forward to this. When I come back, we'll be taking the shrimp and actually prepping the shrimp prior to frying it. And this is something that I do because I'm a little OCD about my shrimp. And they always say, well, we already cleaned the shrimp. All you have to do is throw them in the pan and eat them. That's typically not the case. You got to clean them because they're just not always clean. And then, of course, you have to take that little skeleton thing off the outside of it, and make sure that all that stuff is peeled away. And the tail, I always take the tail off. So there's that prep that has to be done, and I'll show you what I do, and then we'll take it from there. We'll be back in just a minute. Thank you. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up this shrimp here, and I'm going to start cleaning it and getting it prepped for frying it. So you can see these guys are a pretty good size here, right? And of course they've got their little exoskeleton or whatever and their tails on them. So I'm going to be taking those off. So set this up here. I usually use a small little knife that helps me get the whatever it is, the little black vein that goes down the inside of them. And I'm going to run this water, so it might be a little bit hard to hear me, but I don't think so. Okay, so basically what I do is I just rinse them real quick, and then I squeeze the tail off. Okay, and I'll just toss that over here, and I take the rest of this, you know, whatever it is, shell or exoskeleton, whatever, I don't know what it is. I'm not a biologist by any means, but so then I take and I look at it, and I see if there's that little vein that runs right on the inside of this guy. And so what I do is I take this little knife, and this is tedious, but I do it for every single one. I'm not going to do every single one for you guys, but you basically do that, and then you can pull out that little black, there's like a little black vein in there, and it goes basically the length of the shrimp. So I'm being a little bit careful here with this guy just because it's the first one that I've done in front of a camera for people. But basically, a lot of times it'll just come right out real easy. I can just dig it out, you know, and I can pull it and the whole thing will just come out, and then I just move on to the next one. Sometimes it's they're a little finicky, whatever, but I mean, once I get it like that and it's done, boom, I throw it in the colander over here and I move on to the next one. So hopefully this guy will be a little bit easier to do. Just that exoskeleton and tail came right off. Okay, just rinse it. Then I immediately go like this. You can see that black, little black dark vein, or hell, entrails. I don't know what the hell it is. I'm sure some people don't care whether or not they have it, because a lot of people just buy the shrimp, rinse them, and throw them in the pasta or do whatever they want to do. Not me. I'm a little more careful. That one's good. Boom. Now, I'm not going to go through all, 25 of these guys. I'll do one more for you. But basically, boom. That just slid right off again. That's nice. Rinse it. And then, of course, I'm going to spread that out for you. You can see that little black vein that's just running right in there. That's what I'm going after on every single one of these guys. So, basically pull it out right there. And sometimes I can do it here. And then, boom, there it is. But only half of it. There's still another half down here, so I just make sure that I get it all. And again, if you don't care about this, I don't know if it alters the taste or anything, so it's not that big of a deal, but I'm just OCD about it. Boom. Now we got 3 done, and we got about 25 more to go. So, anyway, that's the next step that I do, is I clean those shrimp, and then what I'll do is after I get them, I'll rinse them off again in the colander and put them in a bowl, put them back in the fridge until I'm ready to actually fry them up. So that is the next step. We'll be back in just a minute. Okay, we are back. And what I'll say is that we have the water just coming to a boil for the rice, and I have added some minced garlic in with 1.5 cubes of butter and about, I don't know, 1/4 cup of olive oil, maybe 1/3 cup of olive oil. And so that's working. And I'm gonna go ahead and start the rice, get it simmering, and then we're gonna go ahead and brown the garlic, and then we'll get to frying the shrimp. Perfect. Be back shortly. Okay, so what I'm doing now is just frying up, trying to melt the butter and getting the minced garlic to brown a little bit, getting the oil and the butter to mix. And I don't want to get it too hot, so I'm going to keep it kind of on a medium heat until it gets to the point where I want to put the shrimp in. Okay, so the idea is here that I want to have enough butter and olive oil and garlic and other stuff to really kind of saute those the shrimp. And also then I'm going to put the entire contents of this pan into the rice and mix it together. So you want to have this concoction of spices, butter and garlic and olive oil to go with the rest of the rice. And it'll be really nice. All right, we're getting to the time now where we can start thinking about putting the shrimp in. We've got all of the chives nicely chopped up. Spices are all ready to go. Rice is simmering, the timer's on. We've got about 7 to 8 minutes left on the rice before I pull it off and just let it cool. So I'm gonna go ahead and put in the shrimp. Now, normally I might put in more than this when I'm making it for a large group of people. This is just for me and my daughter tonight. But what I like to do is I like to spread the shrimp out into the pan and just make sure that they're all getting basted and covered with this butter, olive oil, garlic concoction here. So now we've got this going. And I'll turn the pan around like this and like this to get the butter to almost, fully submerge many of these shrimp as they're frying. I have to be a little careful because you don't want to overcook the shrimp. I don't want them really chewy, and I haven't usually had a problem with that. So I keep the heat almost like 70 to 80% of high or full power on the stove. And after they've had a chance to get some butter on them and that, I will start adding the spices. And I do this to taste. I don't have exact amounts, but I will tell you that you got to use generous portions. So now I'm going to start with the garlic powder, and I just make sure that I hit all of them and make sure that they get some garlic powder on them. Then I will go to the honey, smoky honey habanero spice and do kind of almost exactly the same thing, making sure that I'm hitting all of them a little bit, getting those honey granules on there. Then I'll go ahead and take some pepper, fresh ground pepper, and make sure that we get that coarse fresh ground pepper all over. The next thing I do is I'll do the Cajun spice, McCormick's Cajun spice, which is really nice. Okay. Then I'll do, let's see, I will make sure that I kind of move these guys around as we're doing this. Now we'll go with the Creole. That bottle was almost empty, so I used all of that, which is no problem. Then I use a little bit of blackened seasoning. And some cayenne pepper. And some King Cajun. Now you're starting to see that the spices are kind of caked on, but some of this stuff is going to wash off and it's going to go into the mix of butter and olive oil. So we're done with the spices at this point, and what I do is I'll now start flipping these guys over, making sure one at a time, flipping them over so that the spiced side is now immersed in butter. And it's a little tedious, but it's okay. You can use tongs. A lot of people will use a fork or tongs. I'm just going to use the spatula here. It's just as easy. Sometimes they get a little bit funky and they play hardball, but okay, I've got them all. Okay, I believe, yeah, I have them all. Now they've all been flipped, and so turning the heat down just a little bit, and we're going to continue moving these guys around and making sure that they're getting, you know, basted and submerged with this mix of butter and the spices and seasonings on them. And so I like to do this and just kind of tilt the pan around and let that Cajun concoction just kind of swallow up the shrimp as they kind of migrate towards the sides of the pan. Oh, these are looking beautiful. They're just about done. Just about done. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and turn this off, and I'm going to put this off the heat of the burner that it's on. We've got the rice, has about another minute and a half, and then what I'll do is take the chives, and I'm going to sprinkle these chives over the shrimp, and I'm going to save some of these chives and add them into the rice after I mix everything together. Now these are fresh chives, not the dried chives that you would buy. And they work really well. Just really gives it a really nice taste and flavor. Okay, so I used about half of what I chopped up on the shrimp, and you can probably see that there. And those are sitting there kind of sizzling and cooling down a little bit. And then I will combine this pan with the rice in just a few moments, and we'll be right back. Okay, we are back, and it looks like the rice is pretty much done. It has been fluffed up. It's pretty much ready to serve. I put together a maple bacon salad that's really good. It's got some candied pecans, and it's got bacon and a sweet bourbon maple vinaigrette for a dressing. It's got some cabbage and lettuce and stuff. It's really delicious. And so here are the shrimp. They're all done. They've cooled a little bit. The rice is ready to go. So the next step is going to be to put all of this stuff together into this bowl here. Okay, we are back, and we are going to now take the rice, and we're going to scoop generous amounts of the rice into this bowl. I love jasmine rice. That's enough for now. Then we're going to take the shrimp, and we're going to add the shrimp to the top of this. And then at some point, all the remaining sauce is also going to go into this rice, and it gets soaked up with the rice, and it's just really delicious. So what I'll do is then get the remaining seasonings and butter and oil and garlic. Take care of that. And now we just do a little mixing. Just do a little mixing here. You get the rice from the bottom and you just turn this stuff up and mix all of the juices and the seasonings in the rice, and the shrimp goes in there too, and it's just really delicious. Now, just like anything else, like, you know, spaghetti the second day or whatever the case is, usually it takes a little while for the flavors to really get into the rice, you know. And but I'll tell you, second day, it's really, really good too. So this is a really actually easy dinner to make, because the rice kind of just cooks itself. Once you get the water boiling, you just let it cook, and then you have the rice. You can make the rice in advance and then just heat it up just before you mix in your fried shrimp. But this Cajun fried shrimp is just delicious. Now, like I said, you can do an hors d'oeuvre with this. You don't need the rice. You just take that pan of shrimp, you take toothpicks, you put a single toothpick in every single one of those, and you put them on a tray and you serve them, and people just rave about them. I'm telling you. I get great reviews from friends and family when I serve these things as hors d'oeuvres prior to a whatever family engagement or a party or a wine party or whatever. They just love it. So I think that's pretty good there. And then you can always take some of these chives here and just kind of sprinkle a little bit of the extra fresh chives on here, just like that. And you're good to go. There she blows right there. It's going to be really good. So we'll be right back after we serve it up, and we'll talk a little bit about the wine next. Okay, well, everything is done. And now we have the plate served, and we have the wine poured, and it looks like this. So this is the Cajun shrimp rice dish with the maple bourbon bacon salad. That's a mouthful to say. And a beautiful white wine that is a Grüner Veltliner. Now, that wine typically comes from Germany, Austria, some of those countries. Grüner Veltliner is a very common white wine in these areas, and I'm not really familiar with these, but I know full well that they pair really nicely because of the citric components and notes of the wine, and the acidity, and just the mouthfeel of this type of white wine with shrimp dishes. So I'm going to go ahead and enjoy this now, and I hope that you enjoyed this presentation. It's actually a really pretty quick dinner to make. It's inexpensive to make. All the shrimp costed, I think it was like $19 or $20 for the shrimp. Then you have the salad, $4 or $5. That maple bacon bourbon salad is a kit, and it's just delicious. And then of course, the white rice, very cheap to make. The wine is also very inexpensive. The wine was like $15 or $16. And it was one of only 2 or 3 Grüner Veltliners that they had at the local Safeway here where I live. But you can, I could have paired Sauvignon Blanc with this, or a Pinot Grigio, or something else like that as well. But so this is going to be a treat for me tonight. I hope you enjoyed it, and look forward to seeing you on our next episode. Take care, and remember, always live the good life. Until next time.